Hey, good afternoon, everyone. I'm at the top of the hour. Welcome to Vanco's webinar on HDMI active distribution products, specifically splitters, switchers, and matrix units in our evolution line. My name is Frank Santos. I am the Director of Training here at Vanco. Just to get started, just to let you know a little bit about myself. I've been with Vanco for, it'll be 8 years this fall. Time flies, and I was actually not in the HDMI or AV industry before this. I was actually a technical trainer for a software company in the automotive industry. I like to tell people that because it lets you know, anybody can learn AV. A year and a half later, I was actually doing an accredited class for HDMI or regarding HDMI. Learned a lot. So always enjoyable with this technology, always fast-paced and fast-moving. I do have this session recorded, so if you would like a copy of the recording, please let me know. We will definitely post this up on our website. And if you want a copy of the presentation, I can send that over as well in a PDF as a PDF document. We are next week excited to let you guys know that we're going to start our e-learning module. Our learning management system will go live and launch next week, so more to come on that. So be sure to check out our website. And if you're not on our constant contact emailing list, please let me know and we can have our marketing team add you. So let's get started with today's topic. Again, HDMI active distribution products within our evolution line. Now, a couple of weeks ago, we started off with our HDMI cables, HDMI extenders. We covered some audio with Pulse Audio and Beale Street Audio. And last week, we also did an Evolution Evo IP HDMI over IP session. So again, today we're doing splitters, switchers, and matrix units. Now, fair warning, this will be product heavy. However, each and every one of these products are a solution for different applications. So if you've got an application for switching, splitting, and matrix switching, we have a solution for you. So really quick about Vanco. Born in 1957 in Illinois, that's where we reside today. Originally a provider of mobile and CB accessories, I can happily say that we no longer dabble in mobile and CB accessories. About 20 years ago, we started focusing specifically on the HDMI cable, which was our foray into AV. And with HDMI manufacturing, that led us to graduate into HDMI active distribution products like the products we're going to be talking about today. Vanco is actually short for Van Company. We used to sell products right out of Van, believe it or not, going from dealer to dealer, distributor to distributor. We no longer do that. That is a picture of our warehouse and our headquarters in Batavia, Illinois. Now, one thing many people do not know about us, and we've been preaching this on all of our webinars, tested thoroughly, tested twice. That is our motto with our QC test process. We actually employ Vanco employees in Asia where our products are manufactured. And not only do they help us out with product development, they help us out in making sure that every black box is tested before it leaves Asia to the US. Okay, it doesn't matter if it's an amplifier, an HDMI splitter, extender, if it's a black box and it requires a power supply and serialized, we are testing it. Now, we take that a step further. What you are seeing as a picture up top is obviously a messy area, but it's called our QC cage, and it's messy for a reason. We have testers up there. Each tester has their own table, as you can see, and they also have a different mix of displays and sources. You name it, we've got it. Okay, all sorts of different displays, different manufacturers, projectors, LEDs. Heck, we even have some old plasma displays. As far as sources, we've got all versions of Apple TV, Roku, Amazon Fire, AV receivers, security NVRs, dish, cable boxes, again, you name it. What we are trying to do with all of our units, our black boxes, is we are testing them again before they ship out to our distributors and ultimately you guys, our dealers. Okay, so just know if you're getting a Vanco product, it has been tested twice. Now with that, the warranty. We offer a 10-year warranty on Evolution products, which we'll cover today, with the exception of the extenders, which we already covered. Again, it's a 10-year warranty, which is obviously very good, very aggressive. For our cables, it doesn't matter if it's HDMI, VGA, Cat5e, Cat6 patch cables. We even sell a lightning cable for Apple iPhones. All the cables that we offer have a lifetime warranty. Warranties on all of our other brands. Let us know if you're interested in that. We provide that information to you. In terms of our brand partners, they include JVC, Yamaha, Vivotech, Trendnet, and Luxel. That list is only growing. And last but not least, we have a great technical support team, 4 great people available via phone, email, and a website chat. So if you go on our website, you'll see a chat function. Let us know if we can help you out any which way. More than happy to help out. All right, so the Vanco Competitive Edge, what do we do? Well, we want to be a one-stop shop for anything AV that you guys need. So we're a single source for all premium audio, video, and networking products. We do have patch panels, patch cables, keystone inserts, wall plates, so whatever you need. If it relates to AV and someone with networking, we've got it, okay? We only sell through distribution. We have a customizable training support, which includes myself and Daniel Wilson, my trainer, who does a great job on these webinars. If you guys are interested in doing a one-on-one webinar for a specific application, let us know. We're more than happy to provide a webinar for you, especially during these weird times we're having. If everyone's working from home, we might as well learn something new, so let us know how we can help out. We've got a great marketing team with marketing support available as well. So with our extensive product range, again, we want to be a one-stop shop. We're not going to cover each and every product today, otherwise we'd be here the entire day, but we do have products related to HDMI, component, VGA. We do have 2 audio brands, Beale Street Audio and Pulse Audio, with architectural speakers, a line of amplifiers, all sorts of audio solutions, including audio converters, which quite frankly, we got some of the ideas for products from you guys, our integrators and our distributors. We have all sorts of audio and video cables, networking accessories, all sorts of home theater and bulk cable wall plates. You'll see on the left-hand side that brushed wall plate. We've got all sorts of wall plates, different colors, brush, nose, reversible nose, patented hinge plate. Again, if you need wall plates, we've got them. Last but not least, we also have IR distribution products like that One Zone 6 source kit right in the middle. We also have some wireless IR kits. They say IR is going away, but we haven't seen it. All right, let's talk about our bread and butter, our HDMI cables. All of our HDMI cables are high speed with Ethernet, 1080p, 3D, 4K, and believe it or not, we do have some 8K cables available. We have a certified option available through HDMI. That is a certification from HDMI themselves that entails basically the best resolution possible you can get with 4K. All right, so that's 4K 60 frames, 444, chroma subsampling, and high dynamic range, HDR. They also offer audio return channel and up to 18 gigabits per second, and obviously even more with 8K, 48 gigs, believe it or not. So what sets us apart from our competitors in terms of our HDMI cables? Well, if you grab a couple of HDMI cables, different manufacturers, they may look a little bit different. You can dress them up with a fancy connector like you see in front of you. It's metal. You can have some fancy braiding, but what really matters is the guts, the internals of the cable. What we do at Vanco is we focus on the guts of our cables. We individually wrap and insulate all wires within that HDMI cable. Now, keep in mind there's 19 wires, right? 19 pins. We also do a gel molding. Believe it or not, some manufacturers do not use a gel molding. And then we take that a step further. We actually enclose the connector and reinforce that connector with a metal casing surrounding that connector again. Now, underneath that metal casing is 100% copper foil coverage, which many manufacturers do not do. Now, that copper foil helps out with any interference, okay? Now, residential application, cable box to TV, not a big deal, okay? However, if you're working with a higher-end residential or even a commercial application with an AV receiver, or a splitter, or matrix unit, guess what? You'll have all of these HDMI connectors plugged in right next to each other, and you can and will have interference in the form of sparkling, snow, and I've seen it, blinking as well. So again, it really does matter in terms of the guts of the cable. We cover our cables from tip to tip in a nutshell. All right, let's move on to Evolution. Again, Evolution is our Pro Series line. It features a 10-year warranty. And our focus with this line is really on professional, residential, and commercial products. So there's some higher end products featuring EBID. If you have a compatibility issue, typically The evolution unit, doesn't matter if it's an extender, splitter, switcher, matrix unit, has some sort of EBID tool to help you overcome compatibility. Honestly, we're needing it less and less with technologies like HDBaseT. HDMI distribution has become very reliable. All right, let's talk about HDMI switchers. Now, HDMI switchers, what do you need that for? Typically, an HDMI switcher is going to provide multiple HDMI inputs to one single output. The purpose of this for residential and commercial, if you have a display or TV that only has a couple of HDMI inputs, yet you want to add a third and fourth source, instead of buying a whole new TV, a brand new TV, you can buy an inexpensive switcher like this guy, this 4-in, 1-out, which gives you 4 inputs and switches to 1 output. Now, this particular unit can pass 4K 60 frames, 444, 18 gigs, and HDR. So in terms of 4K, you can pass the whole deal, okay? Now, in terms of control, it features RS-232 and IR pass-through, and it also de-embeds audio, so it's got a built-in audio extractor on the right-hand side here. And it also features manual or auto switching. Now, previously, a couple years ago, most of our switchers had auto switching, which is a great feature. If you don't know what auto switching is, basically what that entails is that if you're watching your Blu-ray player and you turn off that Blu-ray player, the switcher will know that and it'll automatically look for the next source that's turned on sequentially. The problem came about with all these media players like Apple TVs, these smart cable boxes, where if you turn them off, they're not really turned off. They're actually sleeping, so they're still sending 5 volts of signal to the switcher, so the switcher thinks it's still on. So you have the option of both auto switching or manual, depending on what kind of sources you've got plugged in. So again, pretty simple 4-in, 1-out switcher here. Great for any residential application. Again, for any application where you're running out of HDMI inputs. 6x1, this is more of a commercial-based switcher. Okay, this is going to feature both HDMI inputs and a couple of VGA inputs. And as far as the outputs, you've got some options here. You got HDMI, you got some audio breakouts in the form of analog and digital, and you do have control via RS-232 as well, in addition to IR. So where would you use this? Conference room type setup. In fact, we used to use this piece in our conference room before we switched over to HDMI over IP. It was a great little unit because if someone comes in, doesn't matter if they have an older computer with VGA or a newer computer with HDMI, they can plug right in. And obviously, if they're utilizing HDMI, it just passes through. If they're utilizing VGA, it upconverts or upscales the resolution to HDMI. So great little piece for conference rooms. We have an even bigger unit that is a 12x3, includes even more. In addition to VGA and HDMI, it's got component, composite, S-video, all sorts of legacy inputs. You want to plug in your old Nintendo 64, you can do it with that unit and actually upscale to HDMI. That's within our Vanco line. So again, cool little 6x1 multi-format scalar switcher, great for conference room type setups. Also, I forgot to mention, if you have any questions, please utilize the chat function. At the end of the presentation, I will go over any questions that you guys have. All right, let's talk about HDMI splitters. So what is an HDMI splitter? An HDMI splitter is going to take one single source and duplicate it to multiple displays. Why would you need this? Well, let's say you've got a TV in the garage, right? You don't have to buy or rent another cable box just for that TV in that garage. You can actually split out the signal from your cable box inside the house to go to, let's say, a family room TV and the garage. So again, a great way of saving cost for any cable box applications. Save that $10 or $20 a month. Commercial applications, if you guys ever walked in with Costco or Sam's Club, the first thing that you see after the greeter, guess what, is a bunch of displays, a bunch of TVs, right? 20, 30, or 40 of them. They don't have a Blu-ray player for each and every TV. They have one single source, one Blu-ray player, playing a cartoon because it looks the best on all these TVs, and they're splitting that signal out. Same deal at Walmart, Best Buy, any kind of retail application where they need to split out one single source. Add an airport to that with departures and arrivals. So with HDMI splitters, we have a whole slew of them. Okay, we've got these 3 units available in 3 different formats: 1x2, 1x4, 1x8. First number is going to be your number of inputs, which is the 1. The second number is going to be a number of outputs. So if you got 2 outputs, 4 outputs, and 8 outputs, if you need more than 8, you can always daisy chain. The rule of thumb with splitters for 1080p is you can actually daisy chain 7 splitters together. With 4K, it is 5 splitters altogether. So you can light up 40 to 50 TVs with a combination of splitters. But these specific splitters that you're seeing in front of you, again, up to date in terms of 4K resolution, so full 4K, 60 frames, 444, 18 gigs, and HDR, features HDCP 2.2, auto EDID for any compatibility issues. Okay, so the key with these splitters is that all of your displays have to be 4K. If not, if you have one 1080p display in there, guess what? It's going to ruin the party. Okay, your source is going to handshake with each and every one of those displays. It's going to say, well, I've got one 1080p display here. I've got to down convert my resolution so that all displays can display a source. So to get around that, we actually just released 2 new SKUs, part numbers down below, in a 1x2 and 1x4. These are 4K with HDR splitters with scaling ability. So basically the same deal in terms of resolution as the previous slide. However, these splitters can downscale from 4K to 1080p. That means on a 1x4 splitter like this that you see on the right-hand side, if all of my TVs up top are 4K, this guy's 1080p, the splitter will automatically adjust to it and downscale this TV to 1080p. That way you remain 4K on the TVs up top and you get 1080p on the display at the bottom. Okay, so you can do multi-display resolutions between 4K and 1080p with these splitters. So very cool application. All right, let's talk about HDMI splitters that need some extension. Now, again, we covered HDMI extenders in a previous training or previous webinar. And again, why would you need to extend an HDMI signal? Well, the limitation of HDMI is length, right? So with 4K, it's 30 feet. Typically with 1080p, it's going to be about 60 to 70 feet. What if you need to go longer? Well, you're talking about using maybe an HDMI cable with an active chipset, fiber to go even a longer way, or quite simply, you can use Cat5 or Cat6 to extend your HDMI signal. So we do sell HDMI extenders, but we also have splitters with HDMI extenders built right in. Now, this particular unit is going to take HDMI in. It's got 4 outputs. The one output is going to be HDMI. That is for loop out purposes. So again, if you want to daisy chain more splitters, create more ports, you can use that port, or you can connect a local display to it. And the 3 other ports are going to be Cat5 or Cat6 out, and that's going to extend our HDMI signal up to 164 feet, 1080p. And then the receivers are sold separately. These receivers are PoE, but more importantly, they return the Cat5 or Cat6 connection back into HDMI for each display. So again, pretty cool application if you have a dentist office and they want to split out a cable box to all of the offices within that dental office. 2 different flavors, a 1x3 and a 1x7. And again, you can daisy chain these for more outputs. Excuse me, I had to take a drink there. We also have a splitter that extends over Cat6, but with 4K capability. So this guy, again, is a 1-in, 4-out with a 5th HDMI. But again, the key here, it's going to do 4K, where as the previous slide, the max resolution is only going to be 1080p. So this unit passes 4K, 60 frames, 444, 18 gigs, and HDR up to 98 feet. If you do want HDR, passes through at 4K 30, so we've got to drop down the refresh rate and the chroma subsampling. Okay, this particular unit actually comes with the main splitter and the 4 receivers in the box as one complete kit. And again, the receivers are actually PoE, so that way you don't need power supplies behind each display. All right, let's switch gears here into our multi-view and video wall products. With Evolution, over the past couple of years, we decided to put a focus on commercial products. So that included, obviously, digital signage-based products, including video wall processors, multi-view products you can use in commercial and residential as well. So let's get into it. So this part number, our EVS-W1040, this is a 4-in, 1-output HDMI switcher Now, just like any other switcher, this will show you one source at a time, or it can actually show you all 4 sources on one screen. So if you've got a nice size display, or if you've got a nice size projection screen in your basement, let's say it's 120 incher, you can actually do a quadrant mode. And if you're a big sports fan, this is where this unit is helpful, because it'll show all 4 sources on each quadrant, or it'll do a 1 main screen and sort of 3 tiles on the right-hand side. To show you what I'm talking about, it does this. So again, if you're a big sports guy, this is perfect for it. If you got a nice size projection screen in a bar, which I've seen some bars have, this is a great solution for that as well. The other mode is this guy right here, where you have 1, again, main screen, and then you can have 3 different tiles on the right-hand side. You can show different sources. You can show digital signage. I've had an application show menus, specials on the right-hand side. So different applications for this. Your audio will always come out on the bigger screen. On the previous screen, you can actually extract, or I shouldn't say extract, but take the audio out of any quadrant just by using the included remote. But back to this format, to switch over, you can easily switch to the basketball game if you wanted to. You can use in the front panel or the included IO remote. We actually call this our man cave in a box. Pretty popular unit, obviously. All right, we also have a little brother to this. This is a 2-in-1 out, and obviously it'll show 1 source at a time, or guess what? It'll do this. So it'll do split screen, or it'll do picture-in-picture, and you can move the picture-in-picture to any corner that you want. I'm a little older. I remember when TVs used to have picture-in-picture. For some odd reason, they went away from that. Some AV receivers have it, but it seems like an option or a feature that went away. I don't know why, because I like it. Obviously, if you're watching 2 different sporting events, one goes to commercial, you can always flip back and forth. Okay, we also have a 4x4 matrix unit with multi-view, but also video wall capability as well. Now, this can act just like any other matrix unit. We can send any source to any display, or if you want to run this in your home or a commercial application where you just want a simple 2x2 video wall, you can do that with this unit, because this will do a 2x2 video wall. So again, if you had 4 TVs all hung up, again, 2x2 application, we can display 1 image or 1 video signal all across 4, or because this is a matrix unit, we can have a different source on each display. So very flexible in terms of what it can do. With this unit also, in terms of control, you do have some RS-232 options, some IP options. We do have drivers for this unit as well. All right, so let's say you just want a video wall processor. You're not interested in switching. You're going to have a 2x2 video wall, and you just want it to be a video wall all times. We have the solution for you. This is our EVSP14VW for video wall. This will take, obviously, all sorts of inputs, including HDMI. You've got VGA, you've got composite, believe it or not, and then you've got a USB port for any files that you want to loop. So any digital signage videos, you can actually play them through here. It's got a built-in media player, and it goes out to 4 displays, obviously in a 2x2 configuration. Now, you also have options to loop out, because you can loop out up to 3 of these units, up to 12 display video wall if you wanted to. So pretty cool little unit, very cost efficient. These are very popular for, again, just very simple video wall applications. All right, let's wrap up with our HDMI matrix switchers. So what is an HDMI matrix unit? It is basically a combination of a switcher and a splitter. So what it entails is multiple inputs and multiple outputs. So you can plug in multiple sources, and we can send any source to any display. We can take one source and split up to all TVs. So full flexibility in terms of HDMI matrix switchers. So we have all sorts of different sizes, including a 4x2, which is our smallest. So this is going to entail 4 HDMI inputs to 2 outputs. This would be perfect for any type of residential or small commercial type application, or you just need 4 sources and 2 TVs, okay? I'll be honest with you guys, not a big seller, only because the average household nowadays, I think it's clocked at 4 TVs or more. Again, we have smaller matrix units. Now this will pass 4K with HDR, as well as HDR10 and Dolby Vision for HDR formats. It also features audio extraction on the right-hand side, and then you've got an EDID tool as well. But more popular, I'll just actually switch through here, is our 4x4. Okay, so this is a 4 in, 4 out. Now again, this will do 4K, 60 frames, 444, 18 gigs of HDR. I'm gonna sound like a broken record here with the resolution and the HDR formats, but HDR10 and Dolby Vision. And again, you have RS-232 for IP control, and again, some audio breakouts as well. Okay. Now the previous slide is another 4x2. However, this is only a 1080p piece. So if you're working with just 1080p, we also have a solution just for 1080p displays, a more cost-efficient solution compared to the 4K. Okay, so carrying on. We also have matrix units that have HDMI extenders built right in. So we have a 4 in, 4 out. Okay, so that's what you're seeing here. Let's take a look here. I've got a question. Picture-in-picture went away when the cable companies started encrypting their. Oh, that's good to know. Richard Arena, thank you very much for that. He says picture-in-picture went away when the cable companies started encrypting their signals. Actually, did not know that. It's very helpful information. Thanks for that. So again, what you're looking at here is a 4 in, 4 out HDMI matrix unit. You got 4 HDMI inputs. And then you've got some outputs. Now you've got some different options here, okay? So for each output, you actually get a Cat6 or Cat5e connection or output, but you also get a mirrored HDMI output. What does that mean? That means on this 4x4 unit, you can connect up to 8 displays. And obviously if they're paired up, they will be mirrored. But again, going back to the splitter application where you got a TV in the garage and a TV in the family room, you could absolutely use those outputs in a commercial or residential application without having to buy more cable boxes, right? So it gives you some options there. In terms of the extension, we can go up to 164 feet, 1080p. The receivers, you got 4 of them in the entire kit. This is actually a kit. It's called a quick install kit. All 4 receivers are PoE, so again, you don't need power supplies behind each display. The last thing here, and probably the most important thing, is obviously control. How do you control this? Well, it obviously has front panel control buttons, which honestly, quite honestly, no one's going to use, right? It does come with an iRemote. However, we do have drivers available for this for control for RTI, AMX, Crestron, so on and so forth. If you don't have a fancy control system, it also features IP control. So all you have to do is the LAN port on the left-hand side, connect this up to your network. Your network will automatically give our matrix unit an IP address, and you can access the user interface just by bringing up a web browser and punching in the IP address, which looks like this. Okay, so this is actually a screenshot on my phone. Now, the user interface is not going to be mind-blowing. It's going to be very simple, very easy to use. It's not going to have many graphics, but in terms of switching, it gets the job done. So you can see all of my zones here. I've got the guest bedroom, the playroom, the master bedroom, and the basement. And for the drop-down box, you've got each and every source that you have hooked up to it, okay? So you can see all 4 TVs. Now, if I wanted to change sources, simply click on any one of these drop-down boxes. Okay, click on the source down below. Now that'll update, and now this TV just updated to that PlayStation. So pretty simple. You can use this on iPhone, iPad, wireless devices, again, web browsers, on computers, laptops, does not matter. So again, a great way of controlling switching of your sources to different outputs just by using a user interface. So other stuff that you can do here, we can split out the PS3 to all TVs, okay? We can save presets. We can do different mappings. So if you had a Thursday Night Football preset, a Monday Night Football, that way you're not clicking on each and every TV. You can just click on a preset Thursday Night Football. All the TVs go to that one cable box displaying the football game. Other things that you can do here, again, you can rename your mappings or your presets. You can rename your inputs and your outputs to make it a lot easier on you. And we can even password protect this. Last but not least, there is an EDID tab. So if you're coming across any compatibility issues, you can actually fix those issues right on your phone if you want to. All right, let's cover HDBaseT. With HDBaseT, great technology that extends HDMI signals even further. So we talked about the limitation of HDMI, right? Again, 30 feet for 4K, 1080p, limitations about 60 to 70 feet. Now, again, you can go longer with the help of active cables, cables with chipsets, cables with fiber to go along the way. However, if you still want to use Cat5 or Cat6, you can utilize HDBaseT. Now, people ask me all the time, what is the better application or solution to use? Is it a longer HDMI cable or is it an extender? Honestly, there's no perfect answer. There's pros and cons of each, right? With an HDMI extender, you have the ability of fixing that Cat6 cable's connector if it's broken, right? Not so much with an HDMI cable. If an HDMI connector is broken, it is pretty much toast. With a Cat5 or Cat6 connection, you can easily re-terminate, right? With the extender units, transmitter and receiver, they're pretty much outside of the wall, so you can always upgrade them. You can change them out. You know, with an active cable, if you got that cable in a wall, in a ceiling, drywalled up, pretty hard to fish out that cable. So keep that in mind. There's pros and cons of each. So with HDBaseT, what does that entail? Well, it's called a 5-play system on the right-hand side, which is pretty much HDMI. So you get video, audio for HDMI, your signals there, but it also passes through Ethernet, IR, and PoE all over one single line, and we can do that up to 330 feet. The other advantage with HDBaseT is we can push 4K. Now, your standard HDMI extension can now do 4K. However, HDBaseT for the longest time was the only extension that was capable of doing 4K. All right, so again, we can go even longer with HDBaseT. So if you've got some applications where you need to go up to 330 feet, HDBaseT is the answer for it. So with HDBaseT, there's actually different versions. Class A is going to do 330 feet at 1080p. It's going to do 4K 230 feet. All right, Class B, it's going to do 230 feet 1080p, and then for 4K, it's going to cut it down by about 100 feet to 130 feet. Okay. Also, Class B does not transfer Ethernet, so Class A transfers Ethernet as well. So I'll explain that on one of our SKUs coming up with an HDMI extender. With HDMI extenders, I take that back. We're not actually covering HDMI extenders here. My fault. But with HDMI extenders, with HDBaseT Class A, you can actually plug in your router or your Ethernet switch, and at the display end, you'll have a receiver, not only with your HDMI output, but also with a couple of RJ45 jacks where you can plug in your smart TV directly, your PlayStation, your computer at the other end. In case you only have one single Cat6 line to your master bedroom, you can't run any more lines. Now you can still utilize that line for HDMI and Ethernet. Excuse me, had to take a drink of water there. All right, so with HDBaseT, with our matrix units, we do offer 3 different sizes for our matrix units with HDBaseT to a 4x4, an 8x8, and a 16x16. In terms of resolution, we can pass 1080p up to 230 feet, as I mentioned, 4K up to 130 feet. This features HDCP 2.2, and the receivers, which are sold separately, again, do have PoE, or in this term, it's called POH, which is power over HDBaseT. Same deal, you don't need a power supply behind each and every TV. In terms of control, just the same as our previous matrix unit, we have RS-232 on the right-hand side. We also have IP control. And then you'll also see for each and every output, which is very nice. This is more of a professional series matrix unit. Again, great for a commercial application. You've got audio extraction, analog and digital, okay? You also have RS-232 pass-through. So again, if you're using a fancy control system like Control 4, we can actually control the turning off and on of each display. So if you're a bartender, you've got 16 displays. We can turn off all 16 displays. Also, on half of the outputs for each matrix unit, they will feature an HDMI mirrored output as well, as we talked about with our 4x4. So again, that covers all 3 of our HDBaseT matrix units. That actually concludes our splitters, switchers, and matrix units. Again, we've already covered our HDMI over IP solution previously, as well as our extenders and HDMI cables. So again, wanted to cover switchers, splitters, and matrix units this week. Again, if you guys have any more questions about this, please let me know. This slide has our contact information. Again, I'm Frank Santos on the right-hand side. Daniel Wilson is our trainer. He also works in our tech support department. So please feel free to reach out to us anytime. I don't see any additional questions within the control panel here. So again, if you have or want the copy of the recording or the presentation, please reach out to us. Again, you can email me. If there are no other questions, certainly appreciate your time. Please stay safe and be healthy. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Frank. Thanks, Daniel.
Thank you.
Oh, Mike just left. I missed him.